Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today, not with a top 5 list, but with a ranking of every single race shoe that's released in 2025. I thought it would be fun to rank them, to stack them, to let you know the strengths and the weaknesses of all the different race shoes that I've tested. Now, if you're looking for a new race shoe, let me tell you, you're in the right place. But an even better place after you finish this video would be the Supwell app. It's my app. It's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. And the reason I get so excited about it, talking about it every day, is because it really is the best place to find running shoe deals out there. You can find every one of these shoes, probably not in your size right now. That's the thing about marketplaces. Maybe sometimes we'll have a shoe, maybe sometimes we won't. But every one of these shoes at one point or another has been on the app or will be on the app at a highly discounted price. So go look on the app if you're looking for an Adios Pro 4, a Nike Vaporfly, an Alphafly. That was an older release, but I've seen tons of Alphaflies. If you're looking for a Cielo, if you're looking for a Brooks Hyperion Elite 4 PB, I don't know why you'd be looking for that shoe, but I actually did see one on there yesterday at a really good deal. I think it was $130 or $140. So a lot of people have a lot of extra shoes. They sell them on the app for a lot lower than you can buy them from a store. And we also have a discount code to Running Warehouse, takes 20% off of gear. So if you don't want to be a fool like me and stand out in the 90-degree heat in a big t-shirt, you can maybe get a singlet, or you could get 10% off of fuel as well with our discount code, and 10% off of my stuff. This is the hat, 10% off of the Hobby Jogger hat, 10% off of this shirt, which is a great shirt, but probably not a good shirt for standing out in 95-degree heat with 98% humidity. But we do it for the love of the game. Get in with us and enjoy today's video. Well, that's the Mint Hill special for you. I was midway through my run here on the other side of the neighborhood, and well, halfway through the run, I saw the sky, just on mile 1, I saw the sky about to open up, and I thought I could beat it, but I could not. And I don't mess around with the lightning if there's a chance, so, or if there's a choice. So I'm just gonna wait this thing out, get the last mile. I'm on mile 3. I literally had one more mile, and the sky decided to open up.
Thankfully, it looks like it's going to pass quickly. The worst of it, at least.
Well, I was going to say, just like that, it's gone just as quickly as it came, but then there was a huge thunderclap. But the worst of it is done. I'm going to take my chances. Finished. And man, look at this. This is a madness thing. This is a madness. Can you see the vapor? I can't see if you can see it off the ground. And now the sun is just blasting. But down on the street, the water is evaporating so quickly that there's vapor rising. Water vapor rising off the ground. Look at this. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. How does this have to do with the best race shoes of 2025? Well, I'm gonna shower, and then we'll be right back with that after this break. Alright, this should be a fun one. Ranking every race shoe released in 2025. I had this idea because I've been doing the top 5 shoes in each category. The thing is, with the race shoes, there actually haven't been a ton that I've loved, so I thought instead of doing just the top 5, because the top 5, I don't know, they're not all impressive, crazy bangers. Let me go through everyone that's released this year, give the highs and the lows of all of them, and also let you know where they sort out and stack up. So I counted, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 race shoes that have been released so far this year. This is the one that I just ran in, Nike Vaporfly 4. I actually did a run earlier this morning. It's the afternoon now. I'm gonna be traveling, so I'm doing some of these lists. But I ran in this, and it gave me the idea to do this ranking, because this is a highly mediocre shoe. This is probably the least impressive shoe I've run in this year, based on what it's supposed to be, right? It's the Vaporfly 4, the expectations are high, so I'm gonna let you know where they all stack up. And the whole point of this channel existing is to highlight the value, to highlight the best shoes, no matter what brand they're coming from, no matter whether or not it has a swoosh on the side. And nearly every one of these shoes I bought with my own money. There's 2 of them that were sent to me by the brands, the Cielo X1 2.0 and the Gara. That was earlier this year in January. I made the hard switch 3 months ago now to buy all this stuff myself. So a lot of miles, a lot of money has been invested in this, and now I get to tell you which ones are the best and which ones are the mediocrist. So let's kick it off. Mediocrist is not a real word, by the way. The technical term would be the most mid. So let's start off with it's like a mosquito breeding factory out here because it was just raining. It's about 98% humidity, and there's a puddle. It's just a complete nightmare. But let's start off with the 12th on this list. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep. Measure twice, cut once. Number 12, worst race shoe to release in 2025. I also grabbed the wrong one. This is the right pair. You're not going to be surprised. Well, maybe you are because you've never heard about this, but this is the Gara. No, not Gara. Zara, as in the brand that makes cheap t-shirts, the fast fashion brand. They decided to make a running shoe. It's the Zara Athletics. I don't even know what this thing is called. I think they just call it the race shoe or something like that on their website. And it's predictable, right? For a brand like a Zara, if you're not familiar with Zara, think about a Hollister or an Aeropostale, right? Imagine Aeropostale dropping a race shoe back in 2006. That would actually be fire, because Aeropostale was the hot brand back in the day. It was like Hollister was at the top, Abercrombie, and Aeropostale and American Eagle, but you had to pull up fresh to the middle school dance in the Aeropostale. I actually remember one time I showed up to basketball camp in Maine. This is the only time in my life I was ever bullied. I showed up to basketball camp in Maine with a pink Aeropostale shirt on, and then I got bullied for the entire week. Those boys didn't know how to dress, though, and now they're probably living in their mom's basement still, swagless on Reddit. Meanwhile, we're popping out here with the Zara Athletics carbon race shoe. So what makes this shoe so bad? And I hate having to bash this shoe because it's predictable and this is not a performance running brand, but this is not a performance running shoe. They tried to hype it up as such. They put the carbon plate in here. They say it's a TPEA foam. I don't even know what that means, because what a TPE is just means that it's a polymer. Any foam can be a TPE. TPEE is when you start getting into different types of foam. So it's a foam, extremely firm, basically no energy return at all. There was no bounce, completely dead, so stiff and rigid. The upper wasn't bad. It's like they took the Alphafly 1, took the geometry and the design and just left everything else good about it. So terrible foam, really firm. I would not recommend this shoe. I'm sure people are jogging in it and it's just fine, but compared to everything else on the market, that's not it, fam. I also heard in the UK though, so in the US, oh gosh, someone's ripping a bogey out here. My VO2 max just went down about 3 points. The Barefoot Mafia trying to smoke me out. Yeah, apparently in the UK it's a lot cheaper. I think it converts to something like $120 or 120 pounds versus the other shoes, which are twice as expensive. In the US, this is $170, which puts it in the same price category as Saucony Endorphin Speed, Adidas Boston, more expensive than the Evo. So a shoe with the foam that doesn't warrant race shoe prices, and it's not even really able to compete with the speed training shoes, and more expensive. So not really a good shoe. The only thing is Zara, it's not like this is Chanel or Gucci or Chrome Hearts or Gallery Department or any brand that people actually care about. It's Zara. So it doesn't have the clout to warrant a price premium versus the speed training shoes, and it doesn't have the performance either. So worst carbon race shoe on the market, and the reason I even put it on this list, because it's not a true race foam, is because they're marketing it as such, and that's how I reviewed it. So number 12, yeah, will not be recommending that to anybody anytime soon. I'm sorry, Zara, but if you're gonna market your shoe as a race shoe and it's not good, this is what's gonna happen. All right, next up, number 11. Now this is a shoe I actually liked, and not very many race shoes are bad. That's really the only one on this entire list that is actively bad. Everything else, 11 up, is good. And the thing is, these shoes are priced $250. The cheapest one, MSRP, there's one that's $200, but that's a slightly different story. Of the traditional carbon race shoes here, I'm just looking at all the ones I have, the cheapest one is $250. So you are paying a lot of money, and I'm gonna highlight the strengths and the weaknesses, but none of these shoes, other than the Zara, is an actively bad shoe. Some of them weren't my favorite. A lot of them have flaws. All of them have flaws. Every shoe at every price point has flaws, but these are the best of the best on the market. And so even though this is number 11, not a bad shoe whatsoever. So why is this number 11? Well, it's a very soft shoe. I remember doing a workout in it. The one workout I did in this shoe, and it's basically the exact same thing as the Gara 1, except they fixed the upper. I was gonna say fix the pricing. They did not. It's still $300. They fixed the upper on it. They made it shorter. They fixed the sizing. So what makes this shoe number 11, the last one on this list, is versus all of these other shoes, this one for me, after that workout, it just didn't quite live up to the intended purpose in what I wanted out of a fast race shoe. Very comfortable, nice and soft, good bounce to it, but as I was trying to really crank it up, it wasn't giving me that extra 1-2%. And I remember doing a workout, the last run I did in the Gara OG, trying to dial up marathon pace, and it was just a step slower in that than the Cloud Boom, which is a very soft shoe, or the Alphafly, which of course is a fast shoe. And by the way, the Alphafly is not going to be on this list, or the Deviate Nitro Elite 3, or any of those other shoes, or the Cloud Boom that I loved, but that came out in 2024 or 2023. So very solid shoe, awesome comfort. I love the looks, especially in this colorway, man. It's almost like a faded denim blue jeans with the orange accents. It's a nice shoe, really comfortable. I don't really have any complaints with it. It's just, for me and my training and with what I'm going to recommend to people, I'm not going to recommend this over any of the other shoes because it's not faster than them. Yes, it's comfortable, but for a race shoe, I want some aggression, and that was lacking in this shoe compared to everything else out there. So solid shoe, comfort, A+, speed capability, B-. That's why it's coming in at number 11. All right, next up on the list, number 10, Elliott Racer. Tracksmith Elliott Racer, bang. Very similar story here to the Gara, and these, I could have even flipped these, and this is why it's hard to make these lists sometimes, but the reason I'm putting this one step above the Gara is because it doesn't have the aggression. Very soft shoe. It's got a nice drop-in insole here. It's an aliphatic TPU, I believe aliphatic TPU, some sort of TPU, thick insole. Beautiful ride, so smooth, comfortable, great bounce, and it's a shoe that I really love training in. So while it's not the most aggressive, it doesn't have the same bite as my favorite race shoes, neither does the Gara. It's a shoe that I prefer to train in over something like the Gara, and of course over something like the Zara. So that's why it's number 10 over the Gara. The reason it's not higher up is because this is not a shoe that I'm gonna race in no matter how much I love it. Now, who should get this shoe? if you want the best of the best when it comes to comfort, if you're looking for a carbon plated shoe and the benefits that come with the carbon plated shoe, for example, reinforcing strong running mechanics, making it easier to run for longer, reducing the burden and the pounding on the legs, you should get this shoe. If you're looking for the most bite and aggression off the forefoot, this isn't gonna be the top choice. Now, I did do a fast workout in this. I did 400s on the treadmill, and I was cranking the treadmill up to as fast as that puppy could go, which is a 5 flat on the gym that I used to go to, the treadmill over there, RIP to Snap Fitness. I'm currently gymless at the moment because they closed. But cranking 400s at a 5 flat pace and just landing up at the front, this actually had some get up and go to it. It wasn't too mushy when I was just landing at the front and really opening up the stride. And this rocker, man, super nice for just landing up at the front. It's almost like Saucony Endorphin Pro 3. So the way I would think about this shoe is if you liked the Saucony dude, that felt close, man. Oh my gosh. I wonder if that was the guy who was ripping a dart. Just Marlboro Reds going 55 and a 25. Gosh dang. Yeah, for this thing, landing up at the front was really nice. I wasn't losing any energy, and the way I would think about it is Saucony Endorphin Speed 3, that old speed training shoe. If you could take that, usher it into the modern era, and give it the capability of a Mag Max or a Super Blast, that long run feel, because that was always my issue with the Speed 3. It got too mushy. You would get this. So a really awesome shoe. Yes, you could race in it. Yes, you could run a marathon in it. I actually think this would be one of the top 4-hour marathon shoes, or if you want a marathon shoe with comfort as the #1 priority. But if you are looking to PR and want the best of the best when it comes to speed capability, this is not it. So again, A+ for training, B, solid. I'll give it a solid B for speed capability. It's really just gonna depend. It can get mushy in the back for heel striking. If you run with a more powerful stride, this wouldn't be my recommendation. If you run up at the forefoot and have more of a pitter-patter style, this could be better for you for speed than it is for me. All right, next up, number 9. Shout out Rondo. Last time I said number 9, shout out Rondo, someone was triggered that I didn't say Tony Parker. Shout out Tony Parker. Number 9. We're getting closer to the shoes that I may consider racing in. This is not one of them. Bang. Saucony Endorphin Elite V2. Elite V2. So I just did a long run in this thing recently, 20-mile long run. I was able to crank it up. This was on Father's Day. I was coming into the run, not sure how I would do. I'm highly fatigued with my training style right now, which is what we want. It's a privilege to be tired. And I was talking about this recently, right? In marathon training, being tired, being fatigued, feeling like we have a lot of miles on our legs, that is a feature of the system. That's not a bug of the system. If you're showing up every day to your runs during marathon training feeling fresh, you're not working hard enough. You want to be tired. You want to be in that orange zone. You don't want to be redlining where you're hurting and it's painful and you can't hit workouts, but you need to be pushing it. That volume needs to be high enough to force your body to make adaptations, because if every run is easy, especially on the long runs, if it just feels like a walk in the park, that's not marathon training. That's maintaining. We want to be building. We want to be forcing our bodies to adapt. We have to be putting excess stress on our bodies to make the adaptations. You're not going to adapt if you're just doing the same thing over and over. Plan diversion. I digress. As my coach, Bob Lowe, would say. Bob Lowe, he's the one who taught me how to be a ground ball machine. Work. Very soft shoe. That's really the problem with this thing and why it's number 9? Tony Parker, Rajon Rondo. Yeah, why it's number 9 on this list. But at the same time, it gave me an awesome long run yesterday. So again, all these shoes are good. None of these shoes, now that we're getting up to the list, are bad. They're just different quirks to them and they spike in different areas. This has one of the most exciting race foams on the market, if not the most exciting race foam on the market. This Incrediron. It is super soft, super bouncy, great rocker, but for me, man, I was just bottoming this puppy out from mile 1, and I was getting terrible foot fatigue once I got up to mile 16, mile 17. So it can run fast. I averaged really solid pace in this thing. I was 6:48 pace in the, again, something like 90% humidity yesterday, 80 degrees. So really hot, tough conditions. I only had one gel out there because I ran out. And again, I was highly fatigued, and I did a good run in this thing. Very similar to the run I did the Evo SL a few weeks ago, but just with how soft this is, for me, and for what I would recommend if you are looking for tip of the spear performance, this is not going to be it. Now, I have had some people say, my friend Bob Bruno actually, he was saying, I think he's close to a 4-hour marathon, a sub-4 marathon, and he was saying he ran his last marathon in this and he loved it. So if you're running different paces than I am, I'm training for a 2:30 right now. My last marathon was a 2:39. Anytime I'm running speed, my marathon pace is 6 flat to 5:40. My threshold pace is 5:40 to 5:30. My speed workouts are 5:20 or faster, right? So at those paces, for me, this doesn't feel optimal. You can run fast in anything. You can do a marathon in a pair of Crocs, but compared to the rest of the crop here, this is not my pick for fast speed, nor is it my pick for a comfortable marathon shoe. It is purely too soft, but a really fun tool to mix in here and there, and that's why I got this pair, because I actually had an older pair at 10.5 that was too small for me, so I got this a half size up to enjoy the benefits of this Incrediron foam. Last thing I'll say on this, if you want the benefits of the Incrediron foam in a package that is purely oriented to training, get the Saucony Endorphin Trainer. All right, next up, and wow, it is, dude, I don't know if you could tell, it's hot. It's 90 right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, and I see there's a deer, Barefoot Mafia. That's crazy. They're lighting up SIGs. They're zooming over here at 55 miles an hour. And now there's Barefoot Mafia deer in the street. We got to keep our eye on these people. Can't trust them. Number 8, RIP to Kobe. And I'm sorry that this had to be the Kobe shoe. Brooks Hyperion Elite 4 PB. We are now getting into the part of the list of highly mediocre shoes. These next few shoes are violently mid, but the reason that they're higher up is because I would consider racing them in them. So the ones lower on this list, like the Gara, the Elliott Racer, the Endorphin Elite 2, I actually like them more than this and some of the next ones that are coming, but I wouldn't race in them. I would race in this over the Gara. I would race in this over the Endorphin Elite 2, but the ride is just so plain, so uninspiring, and it feels like what was in the OG Vaporfly. I ran this in the same week as the OG Vaporfly, and this was even worse. So that's why it's in the middle of this list. It's so mid. There's also not much wrong with it. Again, right, that's what I'm saying about these shoes. Anytime you're paying, well, not anytime, but a lot of the time when you're paying 200 plus, 250 plus, the shoes are gonna be solid. That's what this thing is. The weight is average, fine. The foam feel is average, fine. It doesn't have a ton of bite. It's also not slowing me down. It's not hard to run fast in it, but it doesn't feel like it's making me more efficient. It just is. The upper is really good. So this is one of those shoes where if I had to run in it, if I were a Brooks sponsored athlete, I wouldn't be mad at running this. And that's exactly why they created it. They created it because their other shoe, the last version of this, the Hyperion Elite 4 with the non-PIBA, was just a step behind in terms of the foam performance. This feels like it's roughly on par with everything else. It's just nothing special, nothing exciting. Now, I've talked about choosing a marathon shoe. You want something that you can feel comfortable and confident in, and comfort being, for me, the absence of anything bothersome. There wasn't anything in this that was quite bothering me. It was giving me that carbon clap sensation, and we came up with a song, Make That Carbon Clap, because the carbon was clapping so loud, but it just lacks something compared to the top 3-5 shoes on this list. And for me, yes, I want a shoe that I'm comfortable and confident racing in, but I also want something that's gonna make me excited to run on race day. I don't wanna show up with just a completely bland shoe on my foot, and that's what this thing is. It's just a very bland oatmeal with, maybe it's oatmeal with cinnamon, because you have the carbon plate. So if that's what you're looking for, there you go. It's no blueberry muffin, let me tell you that. It's definitely not anything that's gonna come out of Supwell Kitchen. This is what you get in the Starbucks drive-thru, not even the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. This is Starbucks drive-thru on the side of I-95, because you have to eat something. All right, next up, where are we at on the list now? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 7, Michael Vick. Shout out to all my dogs putting in work. We are finally at the mid to the middest of the shoes out there. Nike Vaporfly 4. Yeah, this thing is just, violently uninspiring. It's just, man, I don't know how they could have made this any less exciting to run in. This feels like if you took the Alphafly and removed the pods and made the geometry less aggressive. It's like a neutered Alphafly, and I have no idea why you would want to go to market with that as a race shoe. There's just nothing to this shoe that is actively appealing to me. There's nothing to this shoe that makes it better or special. There's nothing that makes me want to buy this or reach for this over anything else. And the reason I pulled for it today is because I was just wondering, what should I run in? I hadn't run in this in a while, and I said maybe I could get some turnover on this afternoon run, and it was fine for that. And the argument that I've heard for why this shoe exists in this format is because people are saying, well, you want a shoe that anyone can run in that's not going to be too aggressive for somebody who just wants one shoe for racing and training. That's why they have the Gloomfly bricks, right? Isn't that why that shoe exists, the Gloomfly bricks? You don't have your pinnacle race shoe or one of your pinnacle race products be the shoe that's accessible and approachable for everyone. That is literally why you have the Zoomfly at the lower approachable price point. That's supposed to be the everyman, every woman, every happy jogger speed shoe. So this thing is so milquetoast, so lackluster, just nothing about this that makes me want to reach for it again. The foam doesn't really have any bounce to it, and similar to the Hyperion Elite 4 PB, there's not a lot wrong with it. I could race in it, and it's not gonna slow me down. It's just, man, if I'm going for a fast PR attempt, I want the comfortable, confident feel, but I also want something that's just one notch above. This is just not it. So this is the definition of mid right here. I don't even know, man. It makes me upset. They need to do something in the next version to not make this a neutered Vapor or neutered Alphafly, especially because the Streak Fly is so good. And if you took, what this should be is if you took the Streak Fly and amped it up, man, this should be an amped up Streak Fly, not a neutered Alphafly. Because in this format, it's, hey, let's take the Alphafly and strip out all the goodness. No, I want to take the Streak Fly and add in more comfort. That would be the best version of the Vaporfly. I rest my case. Number 6, Baker Mayfield. Woke up feeling dangerous. Are we still in the Valley of Mid? Yes, we are. One last shoe in the Valley of Mid. The Hoka Cielo X1 2.0. I actually want to revisit this soon. I did get some decent testing on this, 50 miles, but it's just right on that line of the Valley of Mid for me. It's so close to being a good or a great shoe, but just one step behind. The issue in this one for me and why it's in the Valley of Mid, and again, none of these shoes other than the Zara are bad, but why it's in that mid category, there's just too much of this soft, not that bouncy foam in the midfoot. This version of the Cielo just does not work. There's too much stack. I'm fighting against the foam when I'm trying to run fast. And you know I'm max cushion gang. You know I like a lot of cushion underneath my forefoot. You know I like the protection, especially for going long. But with this shoe, it's an aggressive geometry. They want to make it a fast shoe. They cut a lot of weight from the OG. And let's not even talk about the OG. I've talked about the OG so much and how that was a beloved long run shoe and had all the stability and was one of the best, most iconic shoes for bigger runners out there and for anyone who wants a comfortable long run cruiser. Let's not even talk about that. But with purely thinking about this version and what they did with it, the foam is just not up to par with the best foams out there. That's what's holding this back. And maybe if there was less of it, I would feel more of the aggression that they're trying to get in this thing, but with how much foam is in the midfoot, it just doesn't do it. They either needed to lean in to the comfort, in which case they should have filled in the heel, made it heavier, widened it out, or double down on the aggression and give us 3 fewer millimeters of foam in the forefoot. Now, we do have the Rocket X3 coming later this year. And I think that's good, based on the leaks I've seen. I think that's going to be exactly what I've just described. Less weirdness going on in the heel, because with this one you also have to land in the midfoot to the forefoot to really get it going. So with the Rocket X3, less weirdness in the heel. Looks like it still has that beautiful rocker, more stability, wider platform, and not as much of this weird foam. They did the trickeration thing where you get the 40 millimeters in the back to get around the rules of what makes a shoe legal for elites to race in, and then more on the midfoot. It plain old does not work. However, and the reason it's number 6, above the Vaporfly, above the Hyperion Elite 4 PB, I have been able to hit some fast workouts in this thing. Not only was it good for steady miles, steady cruising, so getting down to 657 flat and just going out for long 1 hour, 90 minute, 2 hour runs. Not only was it good for that, it was also surprisingly capable at marathon paces and threshold paces. So earlier this year I did a 22-mile long run with, I believe, 4 by 2 miles at marathon pace, and I was hitting 540s in this. So that's why it's on the cusp there. I felt faster in this thing, or I was capable of hitting faster paces in this thing than the Vaporfly. So purely based on that, that's why I would run the marathon in this over the Vaporfly and the Hyperion Elite 4 PB. And the positive side of the coin to this being too mushy and weird in the forefoot is that you do have the protection. So whereas in the Hyperion Elite 4 PB and the Vaporfly, both of those, sometimes I feel like there's just not enough foam, or it's collapsing all the way. I'm not getting that in here. So trade-offs. Not a bad shoe, not the favorite of the favorite, right in the middle. I really do want to get some more miles in this soon. And the bonus is you do have some innovation and some fun things going on with how aggressive it is and with how much foam you get in the middle. So number 6, Cielo X1 2.0. All right, top 5. Top 5. Think I just won a Grammy. Number 5, who's number 5? Kevin Garnett, big ticket, Boston Celtics back in the day. Number 5. Boom. Mr. Clean himself. Look at that. That's what we're going to call this one. Mr. Clean. Ooh, kill him. Adidas Adios Pro 4. This is my second pair of this thing because the first one just did not fit. And here's the thing. With some shoes, like the Endorphin Elite, I had to go up a half a size. With this one, I had to go down a half a size, or actually just get my correct size, which is a 10.5. And then it was better. So number 5, I was calling this a hot mess for a while, and there are some elements to it that do not make it my favorite, like how soft the heel is in the back. However, with this new pair, this fresher pair, getting it in my standard size, 10.5 is what I get in everything. A lot of people when this came out were saying go up half a size. So I followed the crowd. I was a sheep. That's actually not true. The thing is, this was back when I was so thirsty, even just 6 months ago. It's funny how things have changed. I was so thirsty to get this as soon as I could that I bought a 10.5 and I bought an 11 from 2 different sites when it came out to see which one would come faster. Now I'm more relaxed with it because guess what? When I put the video out, I want to do it at the right time, not just be the first. I want to do it when I am excited about the shoe. I want to do it when I'm going to be able to run on fresh legs if it's a race shoe, or fresh legs when it's a speed shoe, or I want to do it on a recovery run if it's a max cushion shoe. So it's not all about being first. And I know because you all, a lot of you out there, watch every day, are going to be here. I don't have to worry and stress about getting clicks and views and having the newest. That's why I'm not freaking out about the Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. I'll get to it when I get to it. Maybe I already ran it by the time this is up. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm going to run that in a few days. Maybe I'll even do that after I come back from vacation. And the other thing is, I was talking about this today. There's a treadmill of newness. We need new all the time. We need the dopamine hits, seeing the new shoes. We want to scroll on Instagram, find all the leaks, and our brain just gets flooded with dopamine. Sometimes we can just take a beat, run in the shoes we have, and then when it's time to review and run in the new shoes, we review and run the new shoes. Anyway, Adios Pro 4. This is a solid shoe for running fast. We're now getting into these top 5. All of these are good at what they do. This is amazing at running fast. This is a shoe I would definitely run a marathon in, even though it's on the softer side. Is one of those shoes where as I've got more miles in it, I can see I'll tolerate it, right? And even on the first run I did in that size 11, I didn't love the soft, squishy heel feel, and I was getting that suction cup feel, which I'm not getting as much in this. And even you can see today, I think this one might be slightly firmer than my other pair. I mean, look at this heel here. But point being, very fast shoe. That first run, 10-mile run I did in the other one, that was a 10-mile PR. So every time I've run in this, last time I did 2x3 miles at Threshold, every time I've run this, I've had a good run. I could run marathon pace in it. It's just not my favorite for relaxed miles during training. Although last time I ran in this pair, it was decent. So maybe I'll get another workout in this soon. I do like running Threshold in this. It feels like it works well for my mechanics. The softness of the foam, last time I ran it, read more to me as comfortable than too mushy squishy. So overall, not bad. Top 5 shoe for sure right now for me. And I can see why people like this. I actually compared this to the Vaporfly 2 last time I ran it. At its best, that's how it feels. Light, fast, soft. At its worst, it can feel like a 1080 with the plate or something, but man, compared to the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, this is like a brick compared to that thing. That thing is just so soft and mushy. So Adios Pro 4, number 5. All right, now we're getting into number 4. I'm also just, it's not even hot. It's just humid. It's like the sun is directly on me though, but it's also so humid that I'm just dripping in sweat. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna need a Gatorade to finish this. Oh my gosh, number 4, Adam Vinatieri. Oh, okay, I left it up there because I needed it to be fresh and clean. Number 4, Adidas Evo Pro 2. Adidas, actually Evo Pro, it's Adidas Adizero Adios Pro Evo 2. Yeah, this is number 4, the $500 Adidas race shoe. You might be surprised to see it so low, right? $500, it should be higher up the list. However, this is number 2 when it comes to the marathon. There's 2 other shoes that aren't marathon shoes or aren't marathon PR shoes. This is my number 2 marathon PR shoe, but number 4 on this list. When putting this together, I wanted to think about the value. I wanted to think about availability, and $500. This isn't a shoe that is gonna be great for everyone. That's why it's number 4. If this were $250, it would probably be number 2. But what makes this a great shoe? It's all about the lightweight here. So you get as much foam as something like the Cielo or the Endorphin Elite or the Adios Pro 4, even more foam. This has the creative trickeration here where you get more foam in the midfoot, but just as much foam, if not more, than any of the other marathon shoes. And the weight is 40% lighter. So it feels like nothing completely disappears on foot, but you get all of the protection, all of the smoothness, and most of the bounce and propulsion as all the other shoes. The weird thing with this is it's actually not the most aggressive shoe, and that's why it's not higher up. If this had the ride of the number 1 shoe on this list, this would be the number 1 shoe on this list. That sounds simple, but it's not. And the reason why it doesn't have the aggression is the compromises that they have had to make with this foam make it great for the protection and the lightweight, but it doesn't have the same oomph. It doesn't have the same torque as some of the best race foams on the market. So you might think $500 shoe, of course this is the best shoe, it's perfect, it's flawless. It's really not. It actually doesn't have the most bounce. The geometry is great, but the geometry is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, and the lightweight is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. So it's a great shoe for a marathon if you want to get that comfortable, confident feeling. I am so confident running in this thing. It is super comfortable, but it also doesn't have the most aggression. This is not the violent race car that you want to take out to do for a police chase, right? This is not a police chase car. This is not a demon time car. This is a nice, man, I've practiced marathon pace all summer. We're hammering it into the system. We're so smooth at marathon pace. I want the shoe that's gonna give me the best shot at just going out and running marathon pace for 26.2 miles. All it is a 26.2 mile tempo, bro. That's all it is, 26.2 at M pace, bro. That's what this thing is. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, baby. Number 4. All right, top 3. Charles is back, man, I'm hot. I think she thought I was showing her my shirt. I was just trying to cool myself down. We need to get a fan sponsor or something. You know those fans that you hold Let me get one of those companies to sponsor me. I'll just hold it like this for the entire video. I guess I'll have to hold it like this because I usually hold this shoe like this. All right, I'm filibustering now. We're into the top 3. Number 3. Dwayne Wade. Bang! I bet you did not expect to see this. You might have even forgotten about this, but this is the Asics S4 Plus Yogiri top 3 race shoe of 2025. And you might be wondering, why is it on the list? It has a big chunk of ethylene vinyl acetate on the bottom. That's EVA. That was invented in 1972 by Brooks. Shout out Warren Buffett putting in work. Why the heck is it on this list? Well, what's the first question I always ask and answer on the first round reviews? Anybody? What's the first question? How does this shoe compare to its intended purpose? And all these top 3 shoes, these are not the most versatile shoes. These are not the most accessible shoes. These are not necessarily the shoes that I would recommend to everyone, but they all accomplish their intended purpose beautifully. This is a 10 out of 10 for what it is designed to do, and it is designed to be a race shoe. So this is the Asics S4 Plus. It is not a traditional super shoe, and I don't use that. Probably this is the last time I'll say it in this video, but that format, it's not. Because in that format of a shoe, the traditional race shoe, the modern traditional race shoe, and this is the Orwellian language right there. But what the Nike Vaporfly OG pioneered, the soft race foam or any sort of higher energy returning race foam, a supercritical foam with the full length carbon fiber plate, that's not what this is. They designed it to be a 4-hour marathon shoe, so they added more elements of comfort. So it's half of that. With the top layer, you do get that race foam. You get the full-length carbon fiber plate. You get a beautiful upper that fits really nicely. Nothing wrong with it. And then on the bottom, you get the standard foam for stability. So this is all about smoothness and comfort for long hours on feet. And this is one of the best shoes I've run in this year for just going out and cruising. It completely disappears on foot. There's a really nice bounce to it. Once I'm getting down to my 7 flat, 630 pace, which guess what? That's the pace that I could sustain for about 4 hours. And that's what this is designed to do. So no matter what your pace range is, you got to think about this as the long run shoe. And this might be the best shoe for long hours on feet. So it nails it with the intended purpose. What you're not going to get in this versus the Adios Pro 4 or the Elite 2 or the Cielo or even the Tracksmith Elliott Racer is the super lightweight. So this is going to be a heavier shoe, purely because of this training foam on the bottom, but weight has its trade-offs. With this one, the additional weight is going to give you some support and stability. This does not feel like a shoe that's going to completely collapse or bottom out or squish down like that old shoe that Duke, that Zion was using at Duke, right? Just completely collapsed. No. The other thing with it though, and what makes it nice, is it does have a more fleet on foot feel. It does feel more streamlined versus something like the Cielo X1 OG. So that was one of the most legendary long run cruisers, or even the Adios Pro 3, right? That was another one that a lot of people like for 4-hour marathons. This doesn't feel as big and chunky as those. It's comfortable, it's smooth, it's everything you need and nothing you don't. So S4 Plus Yogiri, number 3, great shoe for 4-hour marathons. I actually don't know if this is being sold anymore in the US. It was a very small limited release on Running Warehouse, and then it was gone. So I don't know if you could get your hands on it, but it is a top 3 race shoe. All right. Number 2. Number 2. Man, who's number 2? I always get to one. Doug Flutie. I always get to one part of the list when I'm doing the numbers, and I just forget. Doug Flutie. Bang. Nike Streakfly. Another highly specialized shoe. And all these top 3 are, but if you look at S4 Plus Yogiri, this is sitting over here. Nike Streakfly is sitting over here. This is all about comfort. This is all about long time on feet. Streakfly, this is all about aggression, propulsion, and ripping. So I've talked a lot about this shoe. It's super lightweight. It's nearly as, or even lighter than the $500 race shoe. It has a really fun feel to it with the front. You get a lot of race foam up underneath the forefoot, but still a lightweight. And then you get these nubs up on the forefoot for ripping. So this has some of my fastest miles this year. This is the one that I would go to for any of those mile PR attempts or shorter, and also for training. So if you're looking for the fastest of the fastest and want to train without a ton of support, or I'm not gonna say support because you still do have some cushion in the front, but without all the bulk. That's the difference between an Adios Pro 4 and a Streakfly 2, right? This is way more streamlined, way more cut up, and just way faster purely because of the lighter weight. It's so easy to turn it over, and it has this sensation like you're being pulled forward because of the grip up here in the forefoot. So Nike Streakfly 2, number 2. Great shoe for 5Ks. Also just a great summer shoe because of how light it feels. I cannot wait to get some more miles in this thing. I'm not doing a lot of shorter workouts. That's the issue though. I got the Streakfly right at the end of the pain block when I was transitioning back to doing other styles of workouts. So that's why I haven't really running it, because I'm not doing that style of workout. I'm not going to take it out for example, this week, my next workout is 4 by 2 miles at threshold. I'm not going to run that in the Streakfly. It really maxes out at around 5-6 miles or 30 to 45 minutes of running. I'm not going to put it on for a workout where I'm going to be pounding the pavement for 90 minutes. That's just, it's not what it's designed to do. You know, it is designed to do that. Number 1. Who's a good number 1? Cam Newton. We are out in Carolina. Bang. You already know what it is. Fast R3. Doctors of Running actually put up a good analysis on the Fast R3 on Instagram. I reposted it on the story. Andrea Myers, DPT, she broke it down. There was a study that showed the efficiency benefits people are getting in this shoe versus all the other race shoes and versus the last version of this. And a lot of those guys were getting 1% to 3% benefits. And every single person was more efficient in this shoe than those other shoes. And apparently what did it was they did this study when Puma was developing the shoe of the place where people were landing and how to shave the weight and what the stiffness should be. So this was actually not, what is interesting to me is this was actually not the stiffest shoe out of all the shoes out there. Shout out to Andrea Myers for breaking it down for us. Actually, I think Dr. Andrea Myers, put some respect on the doctor. So it's not the stiffest shoe. It's also not the lightest weight shoe. It's the Streakfly's lighter, but what makes it work so well and what makes it work so well for me and my mechanics is when I'm driving power off the front here, it just has the perfect amount of foam, the perfect bounce, the perfect squish. Again, it's not the firmest, it's not the stiffest, it's also not the softest and the squishiest. They just did a really nice job dialing it in. You can tell that it is a highly considered, scientifically developed product. So downsides of this shoe, again, every shoe has the trade-offs. For this one, the comfort is just not there. But that's why the S4 Plus Yogiri exists, right? If you want a comfortable shoe for long miles on feet, you can get the S4 Plus Yogiri. Or you could get the Tracksmith Elliott Racer. Or if you want something with some sort of aggression, but a lot of foam and comfort for landing up at the forefoot and the midfoot, you could get something like the Cielo 2.0. So now you start to see a lot of these shoes, even though I don't love all of them, there's good qualities, there's bad qualities. Some people might like this one, some people might like that one. But for me, when I'm training fast, man, there is nothing that is better than this one right now. And that study that just came out that I was talking about, it was actually done on people at my pace ranges. So people who aren't professional runners, not running 209 marathons, but also not running 4:30 5-hour marathons. So if you are similar paces to me, 3:30 marathon down to faster to 2:20, which is the majority of people probably watching this channel are 3:30 marathon, 4-hour marathon, right in that range. You're gonna love this thing, and especially if you're training hard for a sub 3 or a sub 3:15 or a sub 3:30. I think a lot of people are gonna like this. Maybe not everyone for their actual race, and for me, the comfort for the long hours on feet just, I don't know, it just still isn't there for me, even though I know people have running this for the marathons. But for your training, and especially if you're doing half marathons, man, such a beautiful shoe. So Fast R3, #1 release of this year. I'm excited to see if Asics can dethrone it. I'm excited to see if Brooks can dethrone it. I'm skeptical that Brooks will be able to dethrone it with the Hyperion Elite 5, which I think is going to be announced or released soon. And the same thing with New Balance. I'm guessing that the Elite V5 is going to land in the Valley of Mid. I could be proven wrong there. Maybe it will be better than the Adios Pro 4, but they typically orient their shoes more to comfort than speed. So we'll see. But there you go. I am completely, can we get a sweat check on this? Look at that. Dude, that's crazy. I really put my blood, sweat, and mileage into this one today. This is a long video. This might be the longest list I've ever done. This is gonna be something like a 45-minute list. Usually I'll just do top 5. Woo! All right, man. That's all I have for you today. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone out there putting in work. Let me know what your top shoes are. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. That's crazy. Look at this. You can see the water, the sweat. Oh my gosh, man. Gosh dang. Bro. Go on vacation. Go on vacation. That's what they said. It'll be fun, they said. Yeah, vacation. You know what vacation means? It means you have to work twice as hard before you leave. That's what vacation is. Hey! No, I'm good. She got a full mortgage payment worth of shoes. No, I was doing a list.
Daddy, I'll help you.
Trying to get ahead for vacation. Thank you. Yeah. You can put it in my office. Thank you. That's crazy, bro. I might need to retire this jersey. Hang that jersey in the rafters after that one. Look at that. We were getting sweated out, smoked out. We still made it, though. That was like the flu game right there. You can't stop me. Sup while running. Ah.